All right, all right, all right. Welcome to the Real Money Coach Show, the pre-Thanksgiving show. Now, I know y'all planning y'all Thanksgiving dinner. Y'all getting it all ready, getting ready to have some good food. Listen, come on in. Come on in. Let us know where you're watching from. Tonight, we have a phenomenal interview for you. A phenomenal interview for you. So, Kimberly, thank you for checking in with us. So wherever you're watching from, put it in the chat box. Let us know who you are, where you're watching from. Kimball Collins, my brother, good to see you, man. Good to have you here. Listen, we got somebody talking in your area tonight, bro. So you're gonna enjoy this for sure. Let me tell you guys something. I'm the Lone Ranger tonight. My co-host, as you guys all know, Michelle Mitchell. She is actually spending time with her family. And so she won't be with us tonight. But listen, this interview that you're going to see is going to be outstanding. Travis from Fayetteville, thank you for being here tonight. You guys, listen, I know there's a lot going on, and I do want to just pause for a second. If you're local here to Charlotte, you may have saw in the news where there was a helicopter crash on 77. One of the weathermen and the pilot actually lost his life in that accident. So again, our condolences going out to the family. So if you're passing through Charlotte, you may want to avoid 77. Going through town around Nations Ford. Alice Martin, thank you for being here, and that type of thing. So, and that just reminds me to remind all of you, make sure that you are careful. Make sure that you are careful when you're out traveling this weekend. If you're traveling to see family or families coming to see you, all that kind of good stuff. Make sure that you just be careful. You know, there's a lot of people, a lot of things happening on the road. And so we just pray for traveling mercies for everyone. Listen, we got Jackie Ward from Orlando. Jackie Ward Rogers, thank you for being here. And of course, Miss Dr. Bonita Harris is in the house along with her. Well, she says she's her mother, but you know, you look at them, I don't know. That is Miss Ruth Bell. Thank you for being here as well. Listen, again, I know that you guys are really going to enjoy the show tonight because it is going to, it's one, you guys, actually, we pre-recorded it because of the holidays and knowing that, schedules and people starting to travel and all that type of thing. So we pre-recorded the interview, but it is going to be very inspiring. I have a couple people that's going to be on there with me as well, asking a few questions since we're pre-recording. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. So again, I want you to make sure, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, make sure that you share this. So you can actually share this on your own timeline. You can share this and so that a lot of people can get this information, because we have tonight a gentleman, his name is Jay Morrison. I don't know if many of you probably follow Jay on social media. I mean, he's got almost like close to, he's got over 700, probably over 1 million followers and that type of thing on social media, different social media outlets. But Jay is really phenomenal. His story is one that is very inspiring. I actually met Jay. I was told about Jay before by one of our guests. Actually, Monica Hayes kind of alerted me to who Jay was. And then, of course, I looked him up and like, wow, it's really phenomenal. And then I actually met him at the All Black National Convention that was hosted by Dr. Boyce Watkins here in Charlotte. Our tables were next to each other. And then he spoke, and then I followed him speaking at the conference. And so just a really great guy, sold out for the Lord. So you're going to enjoy the conversation. You're going to enjoy the conversation. I'm not going to just tell you everything about his background. I'm going to let a little bit of that come out in the interview. But I'm just giving you some time, giving you a few extra minutes here, y'all, to let somebody know that we're going to be on the air with an interview with Jay Morrison, Mr. Real Estate. And so Just a couple of things I want to remind everybody of, and just a quick update on the student loan situation, the debt forgiveness. It was announced today by the Biden administration that they are extending the pause on making payments until June, or until this lawsuit is settled that's going on right now. And as you know, we've talked about it. There's been several lawsuits. The one that right now that caused everything to really be shut down was filed by two borrowers, student loan borrowers, two students that have debt in Texas. They filed a lawsuit, and the Texas federal judge put a halt to the program. So, of course, there's the appeal process and all these things that will happen. And I don't know what the reasoning behind two borrowers filing a lawsuit against this. So, I don't know. Miss Zenobia from Stone Mountain. Miss Zenobia, thank you for being here tonight. And so I wanted to remind everyone of that. And the other thing I wanted to do is I just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about these 3 shopping days that's coming up, right? So, of course, tomorrow's Wednesday. Everybody's going to be getting their groceries, all those type of things. You're going to be cooking your meal and all that. And then there's Black Friday. And Black Friday has started a long time ago for many people. But I want to just give you a couple things to kind of keep your spending under control for Black Friday. Number one is make a list and check it twice, right? Who you're going to buy for. You don't have to buy for everyone. And you want to make sure that you have a plan. Don't just go out all willy-nilly on Black Friday, but have a plan. Have a strategic plan, have a budget, and these type of things so that you don't overspend. The other thing is you want to, do your research, look for the best prices. There's several different websites out there. Capital One Shopping, Google Shopping, Honey is another app or website out there where you can compare prices. So you want to do that. And you want to look for the coupons. You want to look for the good deals, right? So you want to go to things like coupons.com, Groupon.com, perhaps Retail Me Not, and look for ads, look for different coupons to help save you some money as well. And then Saturday, again, you get up in the morning, Saturday, you turn on the Real Money Coach show at 7:30 a.m. on Praise 100.9. I'm going to be talking about some of these same things. And Saturday is actually Small Business Saturday. So we want to encourage you on Saturday to make sure that you're shopping at small businesses. And I added this to that, right? And shop Black, right? So, we think we want to support our businesses. And so do that, try to support other Black businesses, those types of things. And then we move into Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday is when everybody goes online looking for the great deals. But I tell you, one of the strategies is to make sure that you go there and you do that first. So go start researching it. A lot of those deals will be out there and all that good stuff. So that's what's happening this weekend. For me, it's a big weekend because y'all know I ain't seen my boy Chad on here in a little while, but it's Michigan versus Ohio State. So you guys know that's going to be a big game. I'm going to be watching, glued to it. Hopefully we'll have our full complement of players ready. So, yep. So I don't know who said that. Small Business Saturday, this Saturday, Cyber. Somebody put "Let's Go Buckeyes." Like, I'm not mad at you, right? You got to support your team, but I don't go with them Buckeyes, whatever that is. But you got to have some team spirit, right? So whoever you pull for, whether they win or lose, you got to still support your team. So that's what's going on. That's what's going on in my neck of the woods, in my world. And so looking forward to having a lot of family and friends together and enjoying the holidays. And I hope you do the same. So what we're going to do at this point, this interview that I'm going to do with Jay Morrison, again, he's a realtor, he's an investor, he's an entrepreneur. He teaches financial literacy. This guy is actually teaching financial literacy on street corners, right? Going out, just getting the message out. And so what we're going to do is going to roll this. We're going to roll the video. It's about 38 minutes long. I do encourage you to do this. We're still going to be actively engaged. So as you are watching the video, still, please put comments in the chat. If you have questions, put them in the chat. We'll try to get answers for you. And then once the video is done in 38 minutes, then Dante and I will come back, close the show out, and kind of talk about, I'm going to ask him what his thoughts were on the video. He's a young guy. He's a millennial. So I'm going to ask him. And so make sure that you, stay active in the chat. So at this point, Dante, let's try to see if we can get this video to roll. If you pull here at the Real Money Coach. And so I'm really, really excited about bringing him on. If you guys listen to my radio show on Saturday mornings, you heard a little bit of what you are about to get a full dose of this evening. And so I'm actually going to bring Jay on the stage right now. King Jay, how you doing?
Hey, peace, family. I'm well. Thank you. How are you?
Man, I'm doing so well. I thank you, man, for, again, taking time out to do this interview. You took time out for the radio. And what I find about successful people, King Jay, is that they don't mind giving back to the community. That's what it's all. Get the lag out of it, y'all. See. About, of course, I met you at the All Black National Convention here in Charlotte with Dr. Boyce Watkins. And actually, someone had kind of alerted me to, hey, you got to check out Jay Morrison. You got to have him on your show. I said, well, if I can get to him, I'm gonna get him on my show. And then lo and behold, the Lord put us in the same place at the same time, sitting next to each other in the room, and then presenting me behind you, man. So, but for people who may not know, a lot of my audience is, they're older. Some of them, are not into social media, man. I'm barely there myself, right? But tell people who Jay Morrison is. Give us a little bit of your story.
Well, peace, family, and shout out to King Tony here and our brother, Dr. Boyce, who gave us the platform at the All Black National Convention. But I am what many consider a pioneer in real estate, a real estate revolutionary. The cool part is that I've went viral on social media the last 10 years and have been known for, 1 million followers across platforms on social, teaching and preaching on social, but also in the streets, hosting corner classes in our inner city neighborhoods. But I'm just not a viral sensation in regards to economic empowerment. I'm an actionist and have been for a long time, doing everything from being a realtor to loan officer, developer, now a fund manager and private lender, and have helped founded the largest group economics Black-owned real estate crowd fund, the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, named after Tulsa, Oklahoma community of Black Wall Street, where we brought together 15,000 families and small businesses. Yes, 15,000. We brought together in one group economics fund, 15,000 from 22 countries to raise over $11.5 million that we've circulated back into the community through private investment, through private lending, through development, syndication. And I'm sitting here in one of our assets, the Black House here in Atlanta, Georgia, the Legacy Center, where we have a 2.6 acre campus and a 30,000 square foot Class A building, all owned and purchased by those founding families. So, I'm a believer in group economics. Again, I'm a revolutionary, I believe, and I'm just about pouring in and serving our community. I've been able to do this. I used to say, in spite of my brother Tony, as my big brother has said, because of. So I've been able to do these things because of my time I spent in poverty. I've been able to do these things because of me being a high school dropout. I've been able to be special to our community because I had 3 felonies by 21 years old and was a misguided youth. And because of my time in the streets and in prison and in poverty, I was able to turn my life around at 25 years old and make something meaningful out of that. So all of that is my testimony. And that's why I love giving back financial information, because what I learned about real estate, business, and credit changed my life and brought me from the streets to the suites and from the corner to the corner office.
Man, I love it. I love it. Now, listen, you follow the rule, right? You say if somebody give us something, first time you give them credit, next time you like somebody I heard. So that because of, man, just keep giving me a little credit on that. I love that.
You got it.
So, man, you know what's so awesome is that we talk so much about how the black dollar doesn't circulate in our own community, right? And studies show that the median black wealth by 2053 will be zero. We have all these different statistics that's going on, but you're a disruptor of all that. And that's what I love, the fact that you disrupt the status quo. And so I think that's pretty dope. I want to talk a little bit too, because, you know, one of the things, I'm very close with George Fraser, and we always talk about Dr. George Fraser, generational wealth, right? We talk about generational wealth. Now, obviously, they ain't making no more land, right? It ain't no more land being made. And we talk about generational wealth, but one of the things that I loved is I was sitting at the table next to you the opening night of the convention here, and you had your grandparents there, and you had your parents there, you and your wife, and then your daughter. And it's like, that's 4 generations that's in the room. So tell me why it was that important for you, and your message that night, you know, even tying it to biblical principles and truths. Let's call them truths, because that's what they are, even though they try to hide them from us. Why was that important to have your whole family involved in that?
Well, it's amazing that, you know, I didn't mention in our lineage, my grandfather used to be like the kingpin in our town. He was a drug dealer, got caught in a crack epidemic, and he went to prison. My father, he went to prison. He went to the feds for selling drugs. He was once addicted to crack. My mother, she was addicted to drugs and used to help support them in selling and transporting and all those kind of things. And then I became a drug dealer. So we're talking about generational curses that we've been able to break at my generation for my daughter to have a better future because of what we know now, but also generational legacy. So same people I just mentioned, now all are believers. They all have a testimony. They all are landowners. My grandfather owns acres of land. My mother owns acres of land. I own dozens of acres of land. Our daughter has an inheritance of land and wealth. And so it was important for me to have them all present. And they're all in North Carolina too. So they're not in the Queen City, but you know, in driving distance. But it was really important to have them because we want to be the change that we seek. We want to live it. We don't want to just hashtag and tweet Black Wall Street. We want to build Black Wall Street. We don't want to hashtag generate wealth. What it actually looked like when after Thanksgiving, 2 Thanksgivings ago, I asked my grandfather, our family patriarch, for permission to speak to the family about our family finances. So after our Thanksgiving dinner, we all talked about everyone's credit. We all talked about everyone's who has life insurance. We talked about who here, Grandpa, what's your estate plan? What's your trust? So that's generational wealth, right? It's done with intentionality. It's not just the sexy stuff online, but it's can you sit down and have a real conversation with 4 generations of your family about your legacy and about your estate plan and about your wealth. And so that's the hard work that we have to do.
And we gotta have those conversations, man, because so often, you know, especially like I grew up, man, my dad worked in a factory, what have you. He came home, 8th grade education, came home, counted out the money in my mom, and that's all we knew. When they started talking about money, they sent us to the room, right? This is grown folk business. And that's kind of how we grew up. We never learned about money. We never learned about finances. We never learned about those things. Man, shoot, I went to college on an academic scholarship, majoring in accounting, and did not learn anything about personal finance, right? And so I know that it's needed in the marketplace. And what's so great is that there's a lot of people out here doing the work, but there's so much work to be done, you know. So so that's what I love about what you're doing, in starting with that conversation with our family. So each and every one of us can start with our own family at the own, and this show is, you know, airing, you know, 2 days before Thanksgiving. If y'all watching, if y'all didn't get no other idea, then sit down after your Thanksgiving dinner and have a conversation about your money, right? About your finances, who's covered, who's not covered, and all those types of things. So how was that conversation received from the people in your family?
Oh man, they were so appreciative of it. Many of them shocked, because it's a new experience for us. And I would say to everyone who's listening, don't just kind of like feel good about the thought of doing it. Actually create a plan to do it. Like I had to plan it. So I'm like, okay, this Thanksgiving, all right, I'm gonna talk to Grandpa first. That's protocol. And I'm gonna get the blessing from Grandpa. And then after that, after everybody eats, I'm gonna get everybody right. So like be intentional, do it on purpose.
Right.
It's easy to theorize and smile and put in the chat fires and emojis and pound signs, but someone has to take charge and be the CEO for the family, the leader and visionary of the family organization. So that means
patriarch. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So that means there has to be actually a plan, and then execute on that plan, have that conversation, and you'll open up some things around the family. And it's just a quick little checklist. Hey, who here's had their credit report pulled in the last 6 months? Who knows they need credit repair? Do you have an agency to go to? Who here, who here has life insurance? Just do an audit to kind of understand financial health and say
financial audit.
Right. Do we, the Morrisons, do we want to be XYZ place in the next 40 years or 400 years? Like start talking about that family plan. Because if you don't have a family plan, like a legacy plan for your next generations, you're all freestyling. So you try to build generational wealth off of freestyle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like literally, okay, we're going to build generational wealth. How? Your grandparents ain't got no trust, no wills, no estate planning, no healthcare proxy, right? So,
and we continue to lose Big Mama's house to regentrification because somebody comes and flashes $100,000 to us, and we think that's a lot of money, and so we give up all our property rights, like my man Esau, right? So we give up all our property rights for a little cup of soup, right? For a little of nothing.
Who's the most responsible person that things should be going to? Why is the family having an even inheritance going to everyone when everyone's not really worthy of that inheritance? Is that good stewardship? Just because it's fair that all the brothers and sisters get an equal portion of everything are all good stewards of what they have right now today? That's squander.
Right. Man, that's real. That's real talk right there, because we know which members in our family, if they got anything, they're not going to handle it right? And so it'll be gone in a matter of days, really. And so, but we sometimes want to be out of sense of fairness. I mean, we want, like you said, everybody to get an equal part.
That ain't how it works. Though? That's the whole thing. Is that fair to the legacy, though?
Right. Not at all. And then we keep chipping away at the legacy, and next thing you know, there's nothing left to it because we've diluted it, because we haven't taken what we've been given and been good stewards over it. So that's really dope conversation right there.
You know what's a great milestone that we all can choose as families, right? The wealth gap, right? Not the median household income, because median is a middle number between the lowest and the highest.
Right.
Average, right. I like to use the average. The average family wealth for Black families in America, or say Africans in America, is about $331,000 per family. The average family wealth for white Americans who are in first place is about $1,031,000. So it's about a $702,000 wealth gap, family per family pro rata. Our goal as last place Black America, our goal should be to increase our family wealth generation by generation as best we can by $702,000 of family net worth. So that means living net worth, or what I call net worth AD, net worth at death or at demise.
Right. So
my living net worth may be a little less than my at death net worth if I have the proper insurances in place, right, to create.
100%.
Right.
100%, because we're taking pennies on a dollar, right? And so I can go out and buy a $2 million life insurance policy and now leave a whole lot of more money that even is tax-free money that goes to the next generation. The key is to educate them on it too, so that when they get it, they don't blow it. Now, what's interesting about that statistic that you just shared, man, is because it also runs parallel to home ownership, right? Home ownership in the Black community is about 40%. and in the Caucasian community, it's up around 72%. And so that is what's so remarkable, is because real estate is usually our largest piece of wealth that we have in our family, right? And then, then our retirement accounts and all these other things, but it starts there. And so that's why I appreciate what you're doing, man, and helping people get into this real estate game. But listen, man, I want to do this. I want to actually bring on one of my next generations, right? I actually want to bring my son and Tony Jackson II, and also his boy, one of his friends, Martin Jones II. I told my wife, hey, I'm gonna bring the two June bugs on, and we're gonna have this conversation with Jay Morrison. And so I just kind of thought, since we weren't in an environment where people can ask questions, that I wanted these guys to come on and be able to ask you some questions and that type of thing from their perspective. Because again, if we're not reaching them, right, and then the grandkids and etc. So I think that's key. So TJ Martin, meet Mr. King J Morrison.
It's a pleasure, brother. It's a pleasure.
Definitely.
Junior.
My dad asked me, he's like, hey, you know who Jay Morrison is? I said, do I know who Jay Morrison is? What you mean? Of course I know who Jay Morrison is. You know who Jay Morrison is?
Appreciate you, King.
Yeah, nah, that's love. And
so guys, we got Jay here. This is kind of a remarkable moment, right? So we got four brothers here. And I just want to give you guys an opportunity to ask Jay some questions. And then Jay can, expound on or answer the ones you want. If you don't want, whatever, but let's just have a conversation about what you guys are interested in, what you're looking at in terms of just even business, real estate, whatever questions you have. You got the opportunity now. Here's the man.
Yeah, for sure. TJ II, go ahead and kick it off, Ken.
Well,
you're right.
I was going to mention, so to share a little bit about who I am, my background. I'm actually about to graduate in May from Howard University as the first clinical social worker in the MBA MSW dual degree program. Nice. I've done a lot of work with juveniles, adjudicated youth, criminal justice, even doing work now in Southeast DC. And one of the things that we can't ignore when we talk about generational wealth is the role that incarceration has played in stripping that away from the Black community. What does change and transformation look like? Because I know your testimony, right? For an individual that's re-entering society, trying to figure it out, and they realize, okay, I don't have a shot, right? Their perspective, generating wealth, trying to survive. How do we transition from survival to thriving, actually building that generation wealth?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I want to commend you on the work that you're doing with our youth, etc. Maybe King Martin, if you want to mute for a second, I think you have the static. There we go. It's a little better, way better. But no. So what I think when and I have a friend who just came home from 7 years in prison after only being home for 2 years, serving 10 years before that, and only been home for about 18 months and serving about 5 or so before that. He's literally spent like 30 years of his life in prison, but he just did nearly 200,000 in real estate last year. And think about the tenacity it takes, the resilience it takes, the critical thinking it takes to survive prison or survive the streets. Many of the people that are re-entering society already got the survival skill. Is just that you don't have the productivity skill. You got hustle, you just had the wrong product. So when we switch the product up and we take those raw skills into a new space with new information, many of them excel in areas like real estate, where you got a product that always has demand, right?
Right.
You always need, people are going to always need a place to live. Real estate is the oldest business model in the world. That's why I think it's so attractive, even more than stocks and other hustles, if you will, because The stock market was just created 100 years ago, right? Like a little over 100 years ago.
Right.
Real estate's been around since the beginning. It is time, right? Like everything in our clothes, cotton comes from real estate. Where we're all individually sitting now is real estate. All the metal and plastic in our phones come from real estate. The prison they came from was real estate.
That's a fact.
The hospital we were born in is real estate. So when we learn about this industry, it provides us opportunity where we can be employable, or we can employ ourselves when we're not employable. And there's so many different industries within real estate, from being a loan officer. You still can do that despite your record and depending on what state you're in. Being a realtor, a title agent, inspector, construction, landscaping, down to obviously wholesaling, home owning, investing, syndicating, developing, note buying, short sales, foreclosures, multifamilies. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many activities of hustles, if you will, verticals, business verticals. So many products within this product that if someone's coming home from prison or reentering society or had a hard life, all you got to do is get this new information. It doesn't require degrees. It's not biased to your background, or educational level. And you can literally just use your ambition, use your effort, and do decently well. Even if you're not the biggest hustler in the world or the most academic or the best with numbers, you can do decently well, fairly well in this industry, because it's good old fashioned supply and demand, buy low, sell high.
Mm-hmm. Just that simple.
Very easy industry. Like, I found a property in Baltimore for $30,000, is worth $40,000. Like, I could sell it and make some money. I found a property for $100,000, is worth $140,000. Somebody's willing to give me a $10,000 to take over my $100,000 contract because there's $30,000 more of upside and equity for them. It's like being a middleman is like the oldest game in a book, right? We've been doing it for our whole lives. So real estate provides so many opportunities of that, from rental income, and then ways you can pool your resources together, just like you would in the streets. Hey, look, I got a brick. I can't afford it. Hey, you got 5, you got 10, you got 5. Let's go get it and put it out. Same thing with houses, right? We got a project. We got a strip mall. We got a building. I can't afford it. Can you be a credit partner? Can you be an equity partner? Could you be an experienced partner? Let's come together in an LLC. Let's take it.
Collaboration. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it provides just so many angles for us to be creative, and our people, that's what we win at, is creativity and resilience.
Well, and I think a lot of times what has happened is that we don't see it. We need somebody to open our eyes so that we can see the vision, because without vision, people perish, right? The people perish. And so society will try to crush your vision, right? So that you can't see. And
it's built to crush your vision, because they don't want you to see. Right. They want you to see their vision.
Right. And that's a whole nother conversation, right? And then that's systematic, for sure. So Martin, what you got?
Yeah, man, excuse the sound, man. I don't know what's up with my laptop. But yeah, man. So before I get to the question, a little bit about myself. My area of expertise is helping people go from potential to purpose, particularly through fashion, and speaking. So I deal with I talk to a lot of guys who are in their 20s, and they're like, man, like, what's the first step to getting started in life? Or how do I get my family? Like, I want legacy, I want change, but nobody in my family wants it and nobody around me wants it. So it might be somebody listening to this show that's in their 20s, or maybe even in high school. What's some advice you would give them to just get started?
Well, that's amazing. The first step to getting started is work on you. You are the anchor. So many times we want to work on and convince and indoctrinate everyone else when we haven't even gotten us together. And I've been through that, where I left the streets, right? I'm straight cold drug dealer, dope bagger, crack cooker, straight streets. And one day decided to give it all up and try real estate full time. Like one day, that's it. Like today, I quit selling drugs after 10 years. I'm done. I'm not finishing my product. I don't want no more to do with this. I'm through with the game.
Just walked away cold.
Just walked away cold turkey. Yeah. And I felt I had more days left. And as I was learning real estate and these light bulbs are going off, I then was trying to get everybody else to join with me. right? I'm then trying to project my excitement and my interest on everyone else. And it took about a year and a half, 2 years of people seeing the results in me first, seeing the consistency and change in me first before I was able to really indoctrinate those around me. And you have to remember, your family and friends are the last to go most times.
Right.
Now, there's a caveat to that. I did have my grandmother, rest in peace, and my aunt who allowed me to refinance their houses first of anybody when I became a loan officer while on parole. And I made my first $6,000 in real estate off those loan commissions that showed me this legit business was possible. But in totality, your family and friends just know you as June June, even if you're a good kid. So it's hard for them to see you in the light of a financial advisor or somebody I want to give my social to. Or you might have been the knucklehead come home from prison, or you might have been the fast girl or the one in college that was a partier. So new people who see this new personality of you, or it's their first introduction to you, they're actually more than likely to give you a shot at business or ownership or financing or whatever it is than your family would, because your family already has a predisposed version of you. So don't focus on trying to get family and friends involved and indoctrinated. Just focus on being the best version of you and you executing the process. And I'll tell you what, if you come from what you come from, wherever your financial level is currently, but you pull up on your family and friends in a year to 18 months like I did after I went broke in the industry. I was driving a 93 Mercury Grand Marquis with no driver's side door handle. I had no CD player in my car. So everybody's like, yo, real estate is so dope. And why are you driving that? if you pull up on everybody with a brand new Range Rover with 9 miles on it, with smelling like plastic, and you pull up on it and say, hey, this thing that I was telling you all about, it actually panned out. When you show the fruit of your work, your success, and your vision, it's very easy to get everybody on board the legacy once you show them the fruit of your labor.
Well, because our people are a show me, right? You got to show me before I, yeah. I heard you, right? I heard you. I heard you, Tony. Yeah. But we kind of like from Missouri, right? We're that show me state, right? We want to see it. And the one thing is that we have to walk the walk. I mean, quite honestly, we have to be examples of what we want to see happen to the next generation. Gandhi says what, be the world. So it starts with us. It starts with us. So let's do a couple more questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and have to shut it down. But let's do a couple more questions if y'all got another question.
When you said indoctrinated, it made me think about the church and the role that the church played in the civil rights movement. And now we find ourselves in this Black economic movement. But the role of the church has completely changed. And the reach of the church it's a little different, right? What is that new entity? What is that new place to spread the message, to gather the troops, to inspire the people about generational wealth, real estate, and just completely changing Black America? What is that new place? What is that new foundation for us?
That's amazing.
Before you jump on that, King Jay, let me go back to this though, Tony. One of the things you have to understand that the church wasn't all about the civil rights. I mean, really, the history is that the National Baptist Convention did not want to get involved with the civil rights. And then you had a group of people, this young guy named Martin Luther King, some of his people wanted to get involved. They disagreed and actually split the organization, and he became part of the Progressive Baptist Church because they wanted to be involved in the civil rights movement. So the church hasn't always been it's portrayed like the church was really upfront and really out on this civil rights thing. And it was in many cases, but it didn't start out that way. They jumped on the bandwagon once they start seeing that some things were being developed. So that's part of it. And I think that's the same thing we have now, is that we always say, well, what's happening in the church? Is the church relevant? And in many cases, the church has not been relevant, but there are pockets of churches that are. But
Yeah.
I love the question, and I'd love to get King Jay's answer on that.
Yeah, two parts. One is I think the Black church has an amazing opportunity right now. Where the church most failed us is that either through poor guidance or through systematic direction, the church allowed the lie to exist about us of who we really are. Right? As I've been reading about, I had that. I grew up in church, youth ministry president, usher, choir, all that. And then most of us dip off from church because something ain't right. And there's something that isn't right is the church allowed us in many cases. And I went to the Baptist conventions. My grandmother literally took me to 4 of them around the country. My first time in
we probably was at some of the same ones, bro.
Yeah. My first time in Atlanta was at the Black National Baptist Convention in, you know what I'm saying? In 93.
We are the children of
The church allowed us in Sunday school and growing up to color white and peach Abrahams and Samsons and Davids and Goliaths and all that, when the Bible actually describes Samson as a black man with 7 locks. When the Bible describes an Adam, not a peach version of Adam and Eve in the garden, but describes somebody that was made in Ethiopia. The Bible described Jesus as a bronze man. That layer of allowing this stigma to go on that we weren't made in God's image, that his image didn't reflect us in knowing who we really are, I think is one of the biggest failures of the church. One of the biggest opportunities of the church to really bring Black people back is be a church about a book, God's word, the holy word, that is about us, that describes us. And it's about our lineage and about our heritage and about our birthright, right? So when you talk about sons of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Abraham was descendant of Adam, a black man. Right. These are so that will give us a better light of how the church can support us by just being true to God's word. That's my take on the church. In regards to what institution helps us in our drive economically, that's what we're doing here as Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Is not for us to be the only institution, but we know with our $1.6 trillion of spending power, which is beats many nations' whole GDP, that we have the opportunity with the right institutions and infrastructure to pool our dollars together to be able to build the infrastructure for what it is we need to sustain, to be independent and be thriving as a people. So we need more of our own institutions, more of our own banks, more of our own funds that allow us to have diversity in how we invest our capital and how we really create equality for ourselves. I don't believe equality is like, let me have a seat at your table. I believe if you want to be equal as another man or group, you need to build as that other man or group has built. And so we need to build our own tables and do table to table business. But so I think the institutions start with the family institution, practicing group economics within our families, then group economics within our communities, and then group economics on an institutional level with us actually funding and fueling our own projects and our own ideas.
Dope. Martin.
Yeah, let me get this question in for this computer blow up. But I want to take it to a purpose question for you.
Sure thing.
There's a lot of kings out there that learn how to do the how first, like how to play basketball, how to play football, how to sell drugs, and these type of things. But I want you to elaborate on how important the why is for our kings and even queens is listening to this live as well. How important is the why to yourself and to our community?
Well, yeah, the why is most important because it completes us. I've been someone that had the how tactical, how to flip houses, how to do loans, how to do real estate, how to make money. But if you make money and you never find your why, you'll always be empty. And so then you'll be relying on or things by you to have be a temporary happiness because you don't have a depth of peace. So like we all are human beings. We're all here to be something and to be something to others, be something to this ecosystem. So until you find that real reason why, like specifically why I'm here, making money we've used as like this low frequency way of, but like, that's my thing. That's who I am. Making money is not really an identity. It's not really a way of being. So that why piece allows you to have that full circle, what we call rich. Is like where you're financially rich, but you're also spiritually rich. Like you're tapped in. Like I'm serving my purpose under the Creator. I'm walking in exactly why I was designed, exactly what my testimony is, what it is.
Right.
God made me for this moment. I'm walking in that, but then I also have the tactical, practical, skills to live a good life and set up something for my family, while I'm making income and making impact.
Sweet, man. Listen, this has been rich. y'all enjoyed it. This has been rich conversation. It really fast. So Martin and TJ, I'm gonna put you guys back in the green room. And actually, I'm gonna go back into the green room too. I'm just gonna your last words you want to share with the group, King J, and then we'll all just kind of convene after I stop the recording. So the floor is yours.
Oh, appreciate you. Thank you. Well, thank you everybody for your questions and your time. I'm really passionate about real estate, finances, financial literacy, and what it can do to transform us and our families, because I've watched it happen at so many different layers in my family life. And I also believe in vision and big ideas. I never thought the person that's, the 3-time felon would have be an Inc. 5000 twice over CEO, or have our own day here in the city of East Point, or be the Georgia Senate 2022 Citizen of the Year. These things are only confirmations of God's purpose for my life and me walking on that path and on that purpose. And so I do encourage everyone to find what motivates you, what's your purpose, because those things will drive you past your obstacles. It'll allow you to be persistent and be resilient, and understand that it's important for us to be good stewards, even over our little. If we can't be good managers over our little, we can't be good managers over great. Many of us just want 10,000, just want 100,000, and we want our first million, but we haven't proven to be good managers, good organizers, good facilitators over our hundreds, over our thousands. So, I encourage you all to become as financial literate as possible. Follow me on all social media platforms. I'm always dropping nuggets in game at Mr. J Morrison on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, etc. I'm always giving free game. And if you want to test out our mentorship program, we have an amazing mentorship program called the Real Estate Roadmap. We'll teach you A through Z real estate, from home ownership all the way up the ladder, to investing, wholesaling, flipping, landlording, and even have some elite programs for those who want to get into development and fund management, private lending. But you tap in with us. That program is roadmapprogram.com. That's roadmapprogram.com. And again, I thank King Tony for the platform and opportunity to be a money coach to you all. Anything is possible. I believe in 3 principles: love God with all your heart, love yourself, and love your neighbor like yourself. If you abide by those 3 principles, you'll sow good seeds in life. If you sow good seeds, you're guaranteed good fruit. There's no point in getting all this money to be a crappy person. So we want to help build, great families, great individuals, great legacies. And then those great legacies and families can combine to be one strong, great community, and just be, the best version of ourselves for humanity. So thank you all for the time and for the words. Action beats ambition. Do it on purpose, right? Be intentional about whatever you came for. Be intentional, and don't stop until you get what you came for.
That's it. Ain't nothing else to be said, man. Listen, appreciate you. Hang out with us for just a minute. Everybody, we're going to come back and wrap up the show here in just a minute. All right. You're watching the Real Money Coach Show. All right, everybody. Put in the chat, man, if you enjoyed that interview with King J Morrison. Put that in the chat box, man. I'm gonna invite Dante to come on the screen with me, and let's let me get a little bit of what you think, man. How'd you feel about the interview?
Man, that was a wealth of information there. There's a lot to take in there. Actually appreciate because I actually recently went to a real estate class for first home buyers, and a lot of what we were saying was starting to resonate because not only was she giving us that information about the first home time buyer stuff program stuff, but also like trying to tell us to really start investing into like that real estate and start taking a look into that whole game because it's a whole nother, like I said, it's a whole nother market. Really, it is a whole nother market that we haven't really tapped into. Or that a lot of stuff I like what you said. We got to see it to believe it. So like a lot of us, we want to see the results, a lot of it, and a lot of times it don't happen like that. And we're like really in that. And like you said, I'm one of those people who are instant gratification in generation, kind of sort of like people. So like if it's not happening quick, then we're like, all right, so we're moving on to the next thing. But wealth information that he did definitely just brought in.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty awesome, and thank you, Dr. Benita Harris, for your comments and about the conversation too. Jay's just real. I mean, he's down to earth guy. He's got a great testimony. It's
Great testimony,
absolutely amazing. When and I don't know when we talked and he said, despite this, I was like, but it's because what we go through is what drives us, right? So. I thought it was a great conversation. I think we had a lot of people making comments in the chat during the video. Thank you all for doing that. Brother Timothy Day, thank you for your comments there as well. And I want to do this. We always have Dante behind the screen, behind the scenes, right? He doesn't even come out. He's just running the tent for us. That's like tonight, man, since co-host is not here. Yeah,
right. I was thrown off by that. I ain't see a homegirl here. I was like, oh snap.
So it was a great show. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Remember that you can catch me normally every Thursday night on Generational Wealth Alliance with Dr. George Frazier and Janice the Rainmaker Leak. You can catch my morning show on Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. on Praise 100.9 here in Charlotte, as well as this live show that we have every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time as well. In addition to that, you can catch the Money Minute with Olympia D on 105.3 R&B at 1:15 every Monday, and on Wednesdays at 1:15 on Praise 100 with Melody in the middle, another Money Minute. So listen, thank you all for being here. We look forward to seeing you next week. By the way, next week we have attorney Shannon Wright will be our guest. So you guys can catch him on the radio show on Saturday morning, and then we'll actually unpack the important things about estate planning, what should be included in your estate planning right here on the Real Money Show next week at 8:30 p.m. Attorney Shannon Wright. I go to church with him. Awesome guy. So looking forward to unpacking some things that many of you have been asking to hear about: wills, trusts, healthcare directives, and all those type of things. So with that, Dante, take us out, man. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Be safe, and God bless you. Be thankful for everything that God's doing for you. This is the Real Money Coach Show, and we're out.
Hey.